Imagine a world where kings ruled by divine right, where wealth and privilege were inherited, not earned, and where a loaf of bread could cost a month's wages for the poor, while the aristocrats feasted in golden halls. This was France in the late 18th century, a beautiful country on the surface, rich in culture, art, and splendor, but beneath it all, a ticking time bomb of inequality, anger, and desperation. This is the story of the French Revolution, a story of ordinary people rising up, of kings falling, and of a world forever changed. Let's step back. It's the year 1774. France is one of the wealthiest nations in Europe. At least it looks that way. But behind the glittering chandeliers of Versailles, the nation is drowning in debt. Years of lavish spending, costly wars, including the American Revolution, and a tax system designed to favor the rich have left the economy in ruins. At the top sits King Louis XVI, a man not cruel by nature, but indecisive, overwhelmed by the colossal weight of ruling. His young queen, Marie Antoinette, has become a symbol of excess. To the struggling masses, her rumored words, "Let them eat cake," whether true or not, become a dagger to their hearts. France's society was divided into three estates. The first estate, the clergy. The second, the nobility. Both rich, both powerful, both paying almost no taxes. And then the third estate, the commoners. Everyone else. From the poorest peasant to the wealthiest merchant, they bore the crushing burden of taxation and suffering. Imagine a pyramid balanced upside down, teetering on the smallest, weakest point. It was only a matter of time before it collapsed. By 1788, food prices soared. Bread, the lifeblood of the poor, became scarce. Starving families roamed the streets. Anger festered. People whispered of change, of revolution. In May of 1789, the king summoned the Estates General, a rare assembly of all three estates, hoping to solve the financial crisis. It was the first time it had been called in 175 years, but the third estate had had enough of being ignored. When their voices were silenced, they broke away, gathered in an empty indoor tennis court, and made a vow, the tennis court oath. They swore never to separate until France had a new constitution. In that moment, the National Assembly was born. The king wavered. Should he crush them or listen? But history does not wait for indecision. Outside the halls of power, the streets were boiling with rage. On July 14, 1789, an angry mob stormed the Bastille, a medieval fortress, prison, and symbol of royal tyranny. The fortress wasn't filled with political prisoners as some imagined, but that didn't matter. The fall of the Bastille was more than just a military victory. It was a symbol, the birth cry of the revolution. From there, the fire spread like a summer blaze in dry grass. Across the countryside, peasants rose against their landlords, burning documents that kept them in servitude. It was called the Great Fear. France trembled, but not from fear of invaders, from fear of itself. In August, the National Assembly acted. The feudal system was abolished. Titles, privileges, and inherited rights gone. Then came the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, a radical document declaring that all men were born free and equal. No longer was power reserved for the elite. This was a revolution not just of politics, but of ideas. But revolutions are rarely neat or peaceful. As debates raged in Paris, the king hesitated. Some hoped he would accept the changes. Others believed he secretly plotted against the revolution. In October 1789, thousands of women, driven by hunger and fury, marched from Paris to Versailles, demanding bread and the king's attention. They broke into the palace, forcing Louis and Marie to return to Paris. No longer hidden behind palace walls, the monarchy was now prisoners of their own people. For a time, France tried to balance a constitutional monarchy, but trust was somberly shattered in 1791 when the royal family attempted to flee the country. Disguised as commoners, they were caught near the border, dragged back to Paris. To the people, this was proof. The king was not one of them. And as if France didn't have enough chaos within, outside forces were gathering. Monarchies across Europe watched in horror. Revolution was a disease, and they feared it spreading. Austria and Prussia threatened war, demanding the king be restored to full power. France responded by declaring war. The revolution had entered a new, bloodier phase. Inside France, radicals like Maximilien Robespierre rose to power. Calm, disciplined, and obsessed with virtue, Robespierre believed that only through purity could the revolution survive. And so began the Reign of Terror. France was once ruled by kings who lived in luxury while the people starved. Determined. In 1789, the people rose up. They stormed the Bastille, tore down the monarchy, and demanded liberty, equality, and fraternity. King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette were executed. The monarchy was dead. But freedom quickly spiraled into chaos. The revolution turned violent. The Reign of Terror saw thousands sent to the guillotine, including the revolution's own leader, Robespierre. Out of the chaos rose a young general, Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1799, he seized power, ending the revolution and turning France into an empire. Though the revolution ended in blood and empire, its ideas reshaped the world, proving that when ordinary people rise together, even kings can fall. Though the revolution ended in blood and empire, its ideas reshaped the world, proving that when ordinary people rise together, even kings can fall. If this story fascinated you, like, subscribe, and share. What shocked you the most? Comment below. See you in the next epic chapter of history.